Hi, my name is Rochelle Miller, and I would like to discuss the cinematography of the film Unforgiven. But before I do that, I'd like to give you a brief summary. So, the plot of Unforgiven is a simple one. It basically starts out with the story telling the viewers of a young woman who marries a man named William Money, which she did against her family's wishes. Although she could have married anyone, she married a thief and a murderer who was a bad temper, and I think it really broke her family's heart. As time passes, however, she later died of smallpox. So the rest of the film story then begins 2 years later in a town called Big Whiskey in Wyoming. A prostitute's face is slashed by a cowboy who takes offense when she made fun or giggled at his small pecker. And when the sheriff refuses to punish the crime in a manner that the woman considered proper or appropriate, the women banded together to offer money to anyone who will run a more violent and permanent punishment because they wanted justice. So that's basically a brief summary. Now I'd like to move along with the cinematography of the film. Jack Green is a cinematographer of Unforgiven, and I believe that his cinematography really provided viewers with visual reminders or visual cues so that they will be familiar with a genre whose rules are deeply rooted in American cinema. Certainly, the cinematography is stunning at times. It really photographed the vast wilderness and lush greenery. I think that it captured the beautiful scenery and rugged characters in tremendous detail and clarity. You could see like the dusty streets and the ramshackle buildings that were shown, and I think these are really needed to impart a sense of awareness that the storyline takes pains to deconstruct. And our first visual, or the first time we see the town of Big Whiskey, it really establishes a set of expectations, I think, which is a necessary approach to really having its full impact on the audience. It contained like various landscapes or panoramic shots. It had all these examples where they were used for very different reasons, I think. The panoramic shots were used, I believe, to show William Money's isolation from society and his ongoing struggle with his past. And these are important to really understand his character. This is also shown, I think, because the long shots often took place when a storm was approaching, which kind of like foreshadowed the violence and Will's reaction to the violence, showing his struggle within himself. In addition, I think the lighting of Unforgiven was darkly lit, and it often showed its most ethically vague characters enveloped in shadow. And what I mean by that is that the dark and contrast lighting that was used really led to some interesting effects, and it added to some of the characters' personalities, I think, which is another important thing. So despite its dark nature, though, I wanted to add that Unforgiven is filled with humor. And one example that I can remember from the film is when little Bill refers to English Bob not as the Duke of Death, but as the Duck of Death. And I think that's kind of funny. And also, Money repeatedly is seen having trouble mounting his unpredictable nag. And I think moments like that kept Unforgiven from becoming too grim because ultimately it is an unsettling motion picture, so it's important. Unforgiven is a dark western with several scenes, such as the final sequence taking place at night in pouring rain, and Green's photography is at times somber and at times appealing, which I think is perfect for the tone of the film. It has subtlety and grace to it that added to the emotional mood of the story. I'd also like to add that the director Eastwood chose a veteran crew or a more experienced crew to work on the film because he wanted to really perfect the film. I mean, it resulted in technical excellence, which is visible in every frame. So I think that he really did a good job in picking the right crew. Indeed, the cinematographer Green offered the audience a deep palette of colors in the outdoor scenes, and I think he did it in a slightly gentle way. And I think he really did a magnificent job with the cinematography of the film. And that's my brief review of Unforgiven, and I hope you enjoy it.